welcome back to my channel. So first and foremost, before we go any further, I must apologize for how erratic I've been on here. I've been trying to get a video out. Initially we started it every Saturday, it's become every weekend, and now it looks like I'm pushing it even further, but I've got a really good reason. We have family here, so my husband's parents are here. They've been here for the last 3 weeks, and this is their last week with us, so we've been trying to soak up as much family time as we possibly can. And of course my eldest is still on school holidays, so we've also been trying to do as much as we can, and that brings me to what I am doing today. But before we get to that, a little update. So we are now getting towards the end of August, and come September both girls are going to be back at school, and my youngest is going to be joining my eldest at the same school. So things really changed for us. I'm feeling so bittersweet about everything. I'm so excited for her to start school, but I'm also so emotional about it. Like, since we moved here, and it's obviously such a big move for her, such a big move for us, it's been the two of us at home all the time while my husband is at work, and my eldest has been at school. It's just been the two of us. We've spent all of our time together, so I feel really emotional about it, but I'm so excited for her and for this new chapter for her. But what that also means is that things are changing for me. I'm gonna have a lot more time on my hands. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet, but one of the plans is to be a lot more consistent on here, and I've got so much of content that I'm still planning to do, and I'm excited to get going with that as well. Update number 2, it has not cooled down yet. So as I mentioned, we're in the middle to second half of August, and it is still cooking in London. I am positively melting every single day, and I'm probably gonna kick myself for saying this. I am looking forward to the cooler weather, and hopefully that comes soon. We've been getting by with this ridiculous little fan, and while it's been okay and I'm thankful for it, I am really missing my air conditioning from South Africa. So back to what I'm doing today. I am prepping and getting ready for our official summer holiday. We are taking the kids to France. We are so excited. So my husband and I visited France. It was in 2018. We actually did Paris. It was a friend's trip, so we went along with 2 of our best friends, and it was really so nice. But we're expecting that this time we're taking the kids with us. It's going to be a very different experience, and I'm so excited to take you guys along with us. So packing for myself can be daunting as it is, but this time I'm going to be packing for the kids as well. And it's sort of sending me in a bit of a tiz, and I have like to-do lists upon to-do lists and all these little WhatsApp groups of stuff that I need to remember. So I have started preparing. Today is Monday and we leave on Saturday, so we've got about like 5 days left. I did some shopping today, got some snacks together, and yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing today, and that's why my room looks like absolute chaos. Okay, so beside the update and complaining about how hot it is and how much I have to do, there is a point to today's video. Today I'm going to talk about how easy it is to travel the rest of Europe as a South African living in the UK. Sorry guys, I had to interrupt for a hair change because I've got the windows closed to avoid noise getting in so I can film, and I've got the fan off so you can hear me properly, so the hair has got to go up. Okay, so let me be real now. One of the things I was most excited about when moving to the UK was how close it is to travel and how accessible the rest of Europe also is. I mean, you always hear it, oh, just take a Eurostar to Paris, take a ferry here, it's so easy, you get such cheap flights, just book away for the weekend. We hear it all. Now, while it is that easy to book your flights and get across, there's one thing as a South African living in the UK that we have to bear in mind. We still need a Schengen visa to travel. So if you are lucky enough to have a South African passport and a British passport and you've come over with that, no problems, you can visit the Schengen states, and I think there is a small fee now that the big B word has happened, but it's much easier. You don't have to actually apply for a visa. But as a South African with a BRP or a residence permit here to live in the UK, live and work in the UK, we would have to apply for a Schengen visa. Now that's where it gets a little bit more tricky, because you can't just book that weekend away when you find a special, because you have to actually apply for your visa, which can take time. And of course, there's the cost factor that comes into play. So of course, we've just gone through the experience now, and I have a few tips and maybe a few suggestions and some advice that you might find helpful if you find yourself in a similar situation. So I think the biggest thing that I can tell you is to pre-plan and just plan as far in advance as you possibly can. the earlier you plan, the cheaper your flights are going to be, or trains, or whatever, you know, the more specials they're going to be. But also it gives you sufficient time to get your visa as well. So we have our trip coming up now, and we actually were applying for our visa. We booked everything quite a few months in advance. We were still struggling to get an appointment for the visa, especially now because it's peak season. And it's the summertime, so everybody's, you know, going from the UK, going on holiday, and the rest of Europe is very popular. So we were struggling to actually get an appointment for our Schengen visa. Eventually we ended up going with an agent, and obviously that route costs a lot more, but it took a lot of the stress away from us. They sorted everything out. They did the ups and downs for us. So we decided to go that route. And obviously we actually did it quite in advance. So I would say if you're planning to go in the summertime, try and book and do everything like even about 5-6 months in advance and get your visa sorted out as soon as you can. If you're doing a self-application of your visa, and I'm gonna pop up the costs off here, but I think it was about 80 euros for the adults visa, and then about 40 euros for the kid visa. So it works out to about like just over 1,300 Rand for an adult, and just over like just under 670 Rand per child for the visas. So yeah, you can do the maths for a family of 4. It's not cheap, but if you pre-plan, you can obviously just prepare yourself for it. Now the second thing is that the duration of the Schengen visa can vary. In some instances, you're going to end up with a 90-day visa. Now, to get a 90-day visa after spending that amount of money and using it for just one trip would be so sad. So if you pre-plan and you end up with a 90-day visa, you can obviously plan a few other trips in between or closer to each other so that you can really get the most value for money out of that visa. And the thing is, you don't really have control over it. It's embassy dependent. Some are a bit more generous with the visa than others, but you never really know until you have your visa in your hand how long it's going to be. There is light at the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel, however. After a few applications that go back and forth and you get your visa and you enter, they do tend to give you a longer visa. So we were so lucky because this time, after this application process, we all ended up with a 2-year visa. So yay, we're going to go on a few trips and we're going to try and really make the most of it. The third thing I'm going to talk to you about is the travel insurance. So when you do your application for your Schengen visa, one of the requirements is to have a travel insurance. So don't forget to budget for that. Now, while a multiple entry, longer term or longer period insurance might be more expensive, it might increase your chances at getting a longer visa. Now, this was the advice that we got from our agent that we used, but of course, one of the factors for us was that we also had previous Schengen visas, so that could also be why we got a longer visa, but it's worth a shot. We actually just got one online. It was really simple to do. We got a policy document and everything almost immediately once we paid, and I can't remember the cost exactly. I'll pop it on here after I double check, but we ended up going with a 1-year travel insurance, so that will also cover us for the next few trips that we decide to do, and that's also quite a relief as well because we don't have to pay for that when we book our next trips. Okay, so we're going to leave the visas behind now, and the next thing we're going to talk about is the booking. So for this trip, we've booked everything ourselves, and I'll talk more about the trip as we go on in upcoming videos, but we booked everything ourselves. So we looked for, we're starting our trip, we're taking a Eurostar from London, we're going directly to Disneyland. Oh, I'm so excited to take the girls to Disneyland. We're staying in the park for 2 nights. Thereafter, we are taking like a normal metro train to Paris Central. We're going to be there for 2 nights, just so that the girls can see the Eiffel Tower, eat some eclairs, have a croissant. Like, I'm so excited, and just, you know, to basically experience Paris because we're going to be right there. And thereafter, we are heading to the south of France. We are going to be flying from Paris to Nice. So that part is just going to be chill vibes. I'm most excited for that. Like cocktails, swimming costumes on the beach. Like, yeah, I cannot wait. So that's basically what we're doing. But we basically booked from our Eurostar to our flights to our accommodation. We did everything ourselves. We even booked, I think we're going to be doing one of those hot air balloon things when we're in Paris, that we also booked on our own. So I'm going to tell you where to book it. I'm going to pop it on the screen as well. So if you're choosing to fly, the best place to sort of compare pricing is on Skyscanner. That's where we currently been booking all of our flights. In fact, even when we came from South Africa to London, we used Skyscanner to find that deal as well. So Skyscanner, we swear by it. We booked our Eurostar tickets directly on the Eurostar website. We booked quite far in advance. The earlier you book your Eurostar tickets, the cheaper it will be. You'll see as the weeks go by, it gets like ridiculously expensive. So like I cannot emphasize how important pre-planning is. So we booked that on the Eurostar. We haven't booked our tickets from Disneyland to Paris because we're just gonna hop on, you know, a train for that or buy a day ticket for that. And then our flights, our internal flights, we've booked on Skyscanner as well, and we got quite a good deal for those as well. And so our accommodation, we booked everything on booking.com. We generally go between booking.com and Airbnb. I find them to be really reliable. I find they, you know, I trust the sort of rating system. I like the fact that I can filter it quite easily. Everything's on the app, so you can communicate with the property really easily. So yeah, booking.com and Airbnb is where we book all of our accommodation. And so this time for this trip we're staying mostly in, I think, hotels for this trip. So yeah, booking.com, Airbnb. And then the next thing is the tours. You can check out any tour, like anywhere, using Viator. So Viator, I think, has the most competitive pricing. They have a really wide range of tours as well. Everything's really easy to understand. The processes are quite simple. So we're probably gonna book that balloon thing that I wanted to do on Viator, but we haven't really filled up our schedule with lots of things to do with the kids because we want to keep it quite simple and we want to take it according to how they're feeling. So yeah, I'm not gonna plan to do too much. I'm just sort of gonna go with an open mind and see what we can get done. So yes, I'm gonna get back to packing, and once I have a bit more done and I have a bit more sort of a strategy on this, which is probably gonna happen over the next few days, I'll take you on this journey of packing with me as well. I'm quite excited to put stuff together. I'm sort of doing activity packs for the girls because we have, you know, quite a few commutes. Trying to pack strategically as well when it comes to our clothes because we're taking one bag and we have to fit all our clothes and snacks and everything into one bag. So I'm gonna share that with you once I actually get that done. Yeah, and then of course I'm gonna share the travels with you. So plan for the next few weeks that you're gonna be getting a lot of travel spam. So I hope you're looking forward to it. And when we're back in September, I'm gonna get back to more of our information videos on the immigration. But yeah, if there's anything else you want me to touch on, please do leave a comment in the comment section. But if you've been enjoying my videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I share daily updates on Instagram and on TikTok. So if you want to follow our travels and our day-to-day activities, be sure to follow me on there. I'm going to drop my handles over here as well. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.